Well, I apologize, everybody. A little late, 7:35. I guess we can call to order the Board of Health meeting for the 19th of November. Looks like we have on our agenda approval of minutes from October 1st. If I get a chance to review them, if there's any comments. Perfect. Then if there were no edits, comments, or feedback on the minutes, we'll entertain a motion. Actually, we have, I probably should have even asked before we've gone, do we have a quorum? I can't see on here.
We do, yes. So we have Rachel, yourself, and then Stefan on the call. So
Awesome.
we're missing Brenda and Mona, but we still have a quorum.
I
Perfect.
don't think I was at that meeting though. Was I at that meeting?
Let's see here. You were not, so we
But it's
do not.
okay. So the ruling with the minutes is, so you have two options. One, you can wait until the next meeting and put these on for review. However, by voting on the minutes, it doesn't necessarily mean that you were present during the
Oh,
minutes.
good.
It's just
Okay.
you're kind of saying that everything looks right in the meeting. So it's whatever your comfort level is, for sure.
I'm fine with it. You guys are.
Yeah, perfectly fine. We can entertain a motion regarding the minutes of the 1st of October.
I can make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
Perfect. Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Not a second.
Motion made and seconded. Any? Then we will vote. We'll start Stefan
Aye.
and Rachel. And myself would be aye, so 300. Minutes are approved. Next on our agenda is lifeguard variance for Audubon Easterly.
Steve, let me know if you'd like me to share my screen at all as well.
Okay, am I to assume that everybody has the description of what we submitted, or?
Yes, that's been sent to the board ahead of time as well. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for seeing me on Zoom right now. And thanks to Megan for helping us through this process. My name is Steve Wise. I am one of the managing partners of Audubon Capital Partners. And we own the property Audubon Easterly in East Walpole on Cricket Lane. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. It's a 157 unit apartment complex. And we have a pool there. And I think, like everybody else, in every town that I've been in, I live in Boston, but every town between here and Walpole, we have an incredibly difficult time sourcing and staffing our lifeguard position for our pool. And as you can see from our, and I'm working off of a laptop here, so I will try to, oh, there we go. It minimizes. We have used a couple different companies to staff. Well, first of all, we've tried to do it ourselves by going out and trying to hire lifeguards, but we got, I think, one application and the person was 16 years old. And I know that I think the town of Walpole requires a 17-year-old. Is that correct? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we have used the services of a couple different companies who we have found to be incredibly expensive because there are only 2 or 3 of them, and also incredibly, unfortunately, hopefully no one here is associated with any of those companies, incredibly unreliable, to the point where we've had people not show up, or they've promised us something and not, we haven't been able to open the pool, etc. We, as you can see from the application, have gone through the process of, reviewing our entire rent roll, at current state. And we have only 2 people who are permanent residents at the property who are under the age of 18. And I think that if we look at the application that we submitted, there are a lot of things that we can do, we have the ability to do, and we are happy to, spend money to do them, to make it as safe as humanly possible, in order to, hopefully be granted a variance to not have a lifeguard on property for the pool season. So I'm happy to answer any questions and sort of go through any safety measures that might be that I've listed.
So there won't be any children using the pool?
I can't guarantee that there won't be any children using the pool. It is not a public pool. It is only for people who live at our property. And one of the things that we have suggested in here is that we have the ability to shut down our pool. It is currently fobbed for only people that are residents of our pool. So you have to have a key fob, which you get when you have an apartment at our complex to open the gate to get into the pool. One of the things that we will do is we will shut off that fob so that it is permanently closed. And you have to check in with our leasing office, which is adjacent to the pool, to get one of 5 fobs from our leasing office, sign in your name, and if you have a guest, in order to access the pool.
And as far as the clubhouse you're talking about in a proximity, is that something where they have visible line of sight to the pool, or is it an adjacent building, meaning that it's next door, or how close and how much visibility to the pool would that have?
So from where our staff sits in the office, they do not have line of sight from the pool. However, it is adjacent to the office where they sit. And we also have several cameras at the property, and 2 of them are located on the pool area. Our office does not have line of sight to the pool.
Gotcha.
But it's
And you're
not, but it's not in a separate, so there are 3 buildings on the property. And the pool is located in or at the building, adjacent to the building where our management office is. And next to the gym and other amenities that we have at the property.
So how long would it take someone to get there if there was an emergency in the pool?
Oh, I mean, it's out one set of doors, out another set of doors, and you're at the pool. And if it's helpful to understand, our staff there, our maintenance supervisor is a man named Boris. He's a former combat medic. He is, trained in disaster response and first aid response and acute medical care response. We will have an AED, if not 2, if required, in close proximity to the pool. We currently have we call it the bat phone. But there's a phone at the pool where if you pick it up, it automatically calls 911. So there's no pressing of buttons or anything like that. And then along with all of the signage that we will absolutely create and post everywhere, with the addition of, I think I was sort of reviewing prior variance requests that were granted, and I think we'll add in obviously that no alcohol shall be consumed in the pool area either.
Okay, so on here, it says the AED is located in the pool area. That's not the case?
Not currently. The
Okay.
one that we have, I believe the one that we have is not, we're working on getting a replacement one that apparently is better than the one, I guess, that we have now, but it will be located. We can have it located in a box at the pool area, and we can have a separate one located inside of the clubhouse.
I think that's something in the past that we actually have made now a requirement, that there needs to be an AED in the pool area, no matter
Yes.
if it's lifeguard or not.
I am 99.9% sure that is the case.
Okay.
And I can ask Christine, my property manager, to send me a picture of it.
Yeah, I would highly recommend in your summary, which is great. I appreciate you laying out all the plan. I would definitely include the piece around the phone that it does call 911 and the signage that people are aware of it, just as another layer of protection. You mentioned that the pool is open from 9 to 6, and 7 days a week.
Yep.
So you have somebody in that office area 7 days a week during this time?
Yeah, so during the week we do, and on the weekends, and I think we've put it in here as well. We will hire, not a lifeguard, so someone who's not trained as a lifeguard, but we will hire a pool attendant to be out there and take down names and unit numbers of everybody swimming in the pool. But that person will not be trained as a lifeguard. And meet all of those qualifications. But we will have someone at the pool on weekends when it is open.
They will be trained in CPR and first aid though?
I can certainly, the answer is yes, we'll get them trained. Yeah. And again, this is not obviously, I don't want to make this, and I met with Megan prior to this, submitting this variance. And I don't want to make this, we have been in a position down the pool, which has made people very upset. We have, annually, we spend about $55,000 staffing this pool with a lifeguard when this pool is open, 9 to 6, 7 days a week. And we get about 3 swimmers during the week that use the pool. And, it's one of these things where obviously, safety is our number one concern, but the last thing that we want to do is to have 157 units super upset with us because a company that we hired isn't able to supply lifeguards, so we have to shut down. It's just a whole, I guess I don't need to explain it to you guys. I'm sure you've heard the stories before, but I'm just trying to figure out a way where we can maintain a super safe scenario and also give our residents, what they're asking us for.
So if the variance is granted, are you not going to use those companies anymore? So there won't be a lifeguard at any point in time? Or is this just in case you can't get one?
So the way that these contracts work, we've actually already signed a contract with a company. We have a 3-month cancellation policy. And our hope is that we don't have to use these companies. But if the board tells me that we should continue to try and hire lifeguards on our own, we will obviously make every effort to do that. It's my experience with these companies that they're not really in it for the right reasons, and I sort of feel like are taking advantage of the town and the people that are, or the businesses that are there.
Just give you a little background. We've had, obviously you're not alone in this battle of trying to find lifeguards. We've had other situations where we have discussed this is a backup plan. The primary approach should be to have the lifeguard in those cases, and hopefully a rare cases that you're unable to staff it for those reasons.
Mhm.
That's where we would allow this check-in process and somebody on site, as you had mentioned, someone just to covering the desk area. That's kind of the approach we've gone, just trying to not use this as a way that makes things easier, just not having a lifeguard at all. Our intent should be that we have a lifeguard whenever possible, and in those rare circumstances, hopefully rare, that you can't staff it. And the other piece we've had for prior variances like this have been that, especially the first year, we've had the applicant log how many days and what the situation was that they could not find a lifeguard, and then when they did employ this alternate control, just to really get our sense around how much we're talking about, because yeah, not that people would want to do it, but we just don't want this to be an open gate that says you no longer need a lifeguard. There's no reason to even try to attempt to get anybody. That really should be our primary.
Right. Okay. I hear you. Um, so I guess if I'm hearing correctly, I mean, it's my intention to not use these companies. you know, I guess I'm not sure what other buildings or communities are doing if they're trying to go out and post, you know, jobs for lifeguards online. Um, you know, last year we had about 20 days where the company didn't show up, and my property manager's son, who was a lifeguard, took time off of his work to come and be the lifeguard at our pool so that it can remain open. So I guess uh, maybe some advice from you guys as to you know, I could pay $100,000 and have lifeguards, you know, drive in from other cities in the Northeast, I guess, from these companies. Um, I would then have to sacrifice other things. I guess I don't really if you could sort of help, if you could help me understand what other people are talking about when they're trying to get lifeguards but not able to.
Sure, I think other applicants have doing, this is the first time I've heard about an outside service. I think they were
Okay.
always relying on local kids and local organizations to be able to staff it and promote through schools to try to get people back into to doing lifeguards. And I know it's not something that is picking up a lot of momentum. So
Yeah.
I don't know if the last one we had, my memory's not 100% on when we had that last variance, but that was the approach that we took. And I'm not exactly sure if you have heard back from them what that success rate was. 'Cause I know they applied and they will not apply again until probably the spring when they start opening the pool up again.
I understand. Okay, so perhaps maybe if what I'm hearing is correct, I'm a little early in this process because I have not tried this year to post jobs online and connect with schools and other sort of things like that to try to get our own lifeguard sourced.
Hmm. Yeah, that's. I mean, that would be an easy, well, not an easy way, a way to be able to tap into resources if there are some around.
Okay.
Um,
Um, okay. And then if you know, hopefully we're successful in doing that. And I will tell you last year when we tried to do that, we went out at, you know, I think we went out at $28 an hour and got 0 hits. Um, so I guess we will try to do that again.
mean, I'll open up to anybody else on the board. I know we've been a heated debate of lifeguard variances and coverage of pools in the past. I open it up to anybody else if they've got any thoughts or guidance.
Well, I think, Rich, the last one that you're speaking of that we granted under the terms that you had said, I think that was an adult only as well. I think we've been pretty reluctant to grant a variance when there are children involved. And for some background, we've had issues, or well, we haven't. Places have had issues, and it's just not something that me in particular that I like to even entertain giving the variances when it comes around pools, when there are children involved.
So what if I mean, I'll go as far as even telling those 2 units that have the 2 kids that are under 18 that they can't use our pool. I mean, I'm happy to write it into their lease. Everyone else at the community is over the age of 18.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be helpful. But again, this is in case you don't have the lifeguard coverage. This doesn't take the place of having a lifeguard.
Okay. Okay. So I under uh you guys have, so Megan, maybe what I guess what I'm hearing from you guys is if we voted on this now, I should probably not have it be voted on it now. And we can come back to you guys closer to pool season and detail our efforts to try and get self-sourced lifeguards. I guess what I'm concerned about is if I come back, say for example, I come back and say that we, had job postings out, we visited local, schools and job fairs, etc., and I couldn't find anybody, and I'm denied the request, then I guess I can't open my pool for the summer, right? Because we wouldn't have an opportunity to have lifeguards, or is that the direction I'm headed?
I think if you're just doing from what we've historically been discussing, if the first criteria is the adult only, that does change our thoughts a little bit. So the adult only side, we've had some pools that don't have lifeguards because of the number of folks that are there and the ages of the individuals that are there. If this was to be getting creative on how you can propose it, if it's a adult only, then that could possibly get us down the road of being able to explore the variance, and that definitely has a little more weight to it. That it would be, you're trying all you can to get a lifeguard regardless. You posted, here's the information we've given. This is going to be adult only, because and only during those times we don't have a lifeguard. So you possibly could have a hybrid of when you do have lifeguards, you're able to staff it for certain days. You've got commitment from folks. Then it could that point could be open to all folks. And then those days that you are unable to secure the staffing,
Mhm.
then you still go into the fob and you go into the checking in and limited access and logging folks, and then there would be no children allowed. I mean, we could think that try to cover as much as we can, make it so it's not really impacting your livelihood. I mean, that's a big part of your complex. So want to try to make sure we're doing the right thing by swimmers, but also make sure that you're satisfying what you need to do for your tenants.
Okay, great. Well, this feedback is very helpful. So I'll get together with my team and we'll um, try to we'll start the ball rolling on this.
And just kind of lay out, like you're saying about the fob, how you're logging and tracking those who are in and out. It's locked off hours, those details. The phone, include that in there, that there is one, and then confirming the AED. Those are all big pieces that I think would be great to see.
Yep. Okay. And then, that's, by the way, that's in place now. The fob, the whole thing is gated and you cannot get in unless you have a key fob.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah, and that's just was it the additional level of fob control where you have to check in and receive one of the the special acts. Yeah, that's
Right, from the management
yeah,
office. Okay.
exactly. Yeah, those are other layers of good control.
All right. All right, great. So, let's not vote on this, but thank you for the feedback. And we will definitely be back. Megan, I'll be in touch with you about revising this and getting the ball rolling on some alternative options.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great. Well, thank you guys very much for the time. I appreciate it. And thanks for all the work that you do. And I'm sorry that we have to, spend 20 minutes on this. So
No, very important. We appreciate you taking the time to present this.
great. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Again, anybody, if Megan, if it comes up where you're still working on it, I imagine he'd want to try to get something started before it gets too late in the year, before you can open up the pool. If there's something that comes up and you need to ad hoc kind of discuss and talk about it, the approach and trying to cover as much as we can. Again, if anybody else on the board has anything else we want to see, I know this is kind of setting up as we go and building as we go, but I think there's some good controls they might have in place. I think as long as we feel comfortable, but, I mean, as comfortable as we can. Obviously, that's not the ideal situation, but there are circumstances.
That sounds good, Rich. Thank you.
All right, so no vote on that. 8 o'clock, couple minutes late, but we do have a 7:40 planning board request for comment. Winter Estates definitive subdivision.
Perfect. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is when we saw, I believe it was a couple, yeah, earlier in the year. So it is a definitive subdivision, which just as a reminder, does require a yes or no answer or approval from the board um, within the motion. But this is a plan for a two-lot, single-family definitive subdivision. It includes the subdivision of the parcel into two lots, a proposed road, along with all of the utilities. It'll take place within the 100-foot buffer zone. The houses will be utilizing town water and town sewer. The last time we saw this project was in March, and the board voted unanimously to reiterate their longstanding motion regarding new construction within the wetlands, and also requested that the applicant follow best practices when it comes to mosquito mitigation, including working with Norfolk County Mosquito Control for spraying and standing water treatments, as well as instituting regular cleaning of gutters. And the board also noted that they recommend that streetlights be added for safety. So when we first saw the plan, it was a preliminary subdivision, which is why our original motion didn't include that that definitive answer. And it was also a 4-lot subdivision when we first saw it, and now they've made it into 2. So you can see here, so the green here is the wetlands. And then you can see here's the lot that they're dividing. I highlighted the lot 1 and lot 2. This is going to be the new roadway with the cul-de-sac. And there's not much to show yet as far as the houses and the utilities, but this is the land.
So it's just those 2 lots and the green, I'm sorry, the green, the inside of the green is the wetlands or outside of the green?
Yeah, so this area right here is kind of like a isolated wetland, and then this is the another border right here. And then you can see this right here is kind of indicating that this is all wetlands right here.
Gotcha. And inside that lot too, do they have an idea where they're, I mean, that's all within, that entire lot 2 is within the 100 foot?
Yeah, unfortunately, none of the plans showed like where the house will be placed on the lot, but this lot too is definitely a lot mostly wetlands.
Gotcha. Okay, anybody have any questions? And our request for comment, we have to either support or decline the supporting this subdivision.
That's
what our
correct.
All right, anybody have any thoughts, discussions, or want to entertain a motion?
I guess so that it looks like they're building in the wetlands. Is that correct?
Especially this lot too over here, it's pretty much entirely wetlands.
So there's a cul-de-sac that's built into the wetlands, and how are they going to access lot 2?
Again, this was the only plan that was shown to me. So I'm not sure right now. It's just proposing as like the subdivision of the land, so that there wasn't another plan to show where where if there's going to be a house on this lot where it's going to be placed. And
And
yeah,
is it what's that? Is it Geoso Way or?
yeah. So this is going to be this is off of Winter Street, and this is going to be the cul-de-sac for the road.
So they have not built that yet.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so I guess with so we're not providing an approval. We're just saying we support or do not support it. That's it. Is that correct?
Yeah, ultimately, the planning board issues, like, the approval of what and they have their letter of conditions, but with it being a definitive subdivision, they do need from each of the boards, whether we approve or we don't approve.
So
So
we
it's a little
F
okay.
approving or like not approving this.
Yeah, it's not to say if we disapprove that the planning board will then deny their motion. I'm not entirely sure how they handle that on their end. It might depend on the planning board members and what they think. But it's just a more definitive answer of what they think so that they have that information when they make their ruling.
And then I'm sure I've probably asked this before. Historically, have we approved built like actual construction within a wetland in the past?
I don't think we've had a definitive subdivision in a while. Melissa, sorry, I saw you
No,
just
that's
put
fine.
your mic off. You might be able to answer that historically
If
better.
I remember correctly, one time we did in writing deny one of these requests, and it was told to us that unfortunately, we don't really have jurisdiction over the wetlands. So I think the main thing is we're not encouraging it. However, I don't necessarily think we can stop it because we're not the conservation agency. But I think we can obviously have our longstanding motion of, if it were to be approved, we would want the applicant to do X, Y, and Z. And ultimately, they do have to apply with, they're applying through planning and conservation, and there are conditions on the local level as well as the state level that they have to adhere to.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Is this in any kind of water district, or what do you think about those? But I think from a health perspective, any kind of impact to the water source, but in addition to the wetlands.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that, Rich. It didn't indicate that in the application. But I can't definitively answer that. I'm not sure about this specific area.
No, that's fine. Does anyone want to make a motion regarding this? I can make one if nobody has one.
I think you're up, Rich.
All right. I will make a motion regarding the planning board request for comment, definitive subdivision for the Winter Estates. I make a motion that the Board of Health strongly opposes to any build in a wetland and do not support this subdivision as proposed due to the impacts of the wetlands and health impacts of living and building in a wetland area.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and second. Any other additions or comments? Perfect. Then we will vote. Start with Rachel
Aye.
and Stefan.
All right.
And I also 3-0-0. The motion has passed to not support the definitive subdivision of Winter Estates from our perspective. So let's hope we get some traction, because that's definitely seems like a tough impact of the wetlands. All right. Anything? Oh, we have one more thing that was on the agenda that was around the town of Norwood. I don't know if
Sure.
Melissa-
So I just shared the correspondence. So those abutting catchment areas of Norwood Hospital received a letter from their town administrator regarding an emergency determination of need that was stopped by the state. So the town administrator is getting outreach out to first responders, town administrators, boards of health, just to kind of push this forward to hopefully get this order. I don't know, I did get an email, let's see, on Saturday. Did anyone on the board also received an email with he's going to be doing a remote meeting this coming Friday? No.
I
No.
didn't see anything. No.
Okay, I'm gonna forward this along, and it's this Friday, it's from 12 to 1. And it looks like they have a few more updates on this issue that they want to share with everyone. This isn't really a public meeting, because they're saying they don't really have the capacity to host everyone on the call. However, they are giving it out to the fire chiefs, police chiefs, boards of health, members of the Senate, and then town managers and select board. So following this call, I'll just forward you the email from Tony, who's the town administrator in Norwood, and it does have the call information. No pressure jumping on. If it works, great. If not, I can recap at our next meeting.
Nice.
And then the only other thing I had is just typically we meet just once in the month of December. So I know there's actually 5 Tuesdays in December. I know the 4th and 5th Tuesdays are the eves of the holidays. So I don't know if there's a preference of when we meet next. That would leave open the 3rd of December, the 10th of December, and the 17th of December.
No preference for me. Anybody have a date that works better or not? Not works, that doesn't work at all?
All three of those work for me too.
What were the dates again? It was the
The 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th.
3rd, 10th, and the 17th. Those are all good for me too.
Okay. Do we wanna maybe do the 10th because it's kind of like in
In the
between?
middle. Yeah.
Yeah,
That works.
does that work? And then, I mean, we can be flexible. If something comes up and it doesn't work, we have the other 2 as options.
Yeah, just to see if Mona's around and Brenda, see if they work too. So whatever works.
That sounds good. I'll send an email out with the link for the call, as well as just to say that we're tentatively meeting on the 10th, and if anyone has any issues, just to reach back out.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you all.
All right. Was there anything else that we have on the agenda, or anybody want to bring any topics up?
No, I don't have anything else.
If there is nothing else, then we will entertain a motion to end the meeting.
I will make a motion to end the meeting.
And I will second. And we'll vote. Rachel,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
and I also. So 8:12, we'll call Board of Health meeting adjourned. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all. Happy
Thanks so much.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you all.